How did you get into the position of even writing for people, doing the writing thing? Where did that come from?
The writing thing, I've been working with like a lot of producers. So sometimes like producers will have me write on a track and then they'll go and shop it around. And that's how they like for an independent artist, that's pretty much what I've been doing. Or I'll get into a session with an artist and actually sit down with them and then we'll like collaborate on something creatively.
But how did you even like realize that you had like the songwriting skills to sort of be able to handle people's music better than they potentially could?
Honestly, I didn't really know that I had songwriting skills until I really started working with other songwriters and seeing like their process and allowing some songwriters to even write on some of the tracks that I have out before Alternate and before Candy. And realizing that some of the songwriters that I'm working with, I'm like, wow, this is great, this is dope, but this is not truly 1,000% my sound that I want to go for. So then when I started to just write and do things, because I felt like I have a lot of different tones, I have a lot of things that I can talk about, and some of the things that, you know, I may talk about, I don't want it coming from me, you know? So I'm like, you know what, let me give it to someone else that talks about that all the time.
Right.
So with Alternate and Candy, I wrote those, but with other things, I just kind of give away.
Right. So you'll write your own stuff and perform it yourself, and then you'll write stuff and give it away to other people. But are you comfortable being in the position of having somebody fully writing a song for you? And like,
Yeah, I'm open to it. You know, like collaborating with songwriters is dope. I feel like this industry kind of looks at it as like, if you don't write your own stuff, then you're not as good as an artist as the next person sitting next to you.
But isn't that really mostly like a hip hop thing? Like, do you feel that same effect in the pop space or the R&B space? Because I feel like there's not.
I mean, a lot of people in hip hop have songwriters.
Oh
you know?
yeah,
It's
but nobody's giving Beyonce shit for having a songwriter, right?
I mean,
and realistically, is anybody giving Post Malone shit? Is anyone giving? There's so many artists. It's like it's crazy. Like it's crazy that people are still living this lie, acting as if they're not getting help here and there.
Man.
Yeah, it just seems kind of deranged that there's such a like anytime you have a situation where the public believes one thing and then the industry believes something else, then you have an issue. And that's exactly what it is, where the public thinks that all these rappers are writing their own stuff, and then the industry, there's all kinds of stuff that people
I think
know
it's
about.
also how you have to like present it too. I mean, hey, like all this information is available. Like we have the internet, use your sources. Like I think a lot of people are so quick to like jump on social media and be like, no, like, and it's like, no, just go on the computer, open up your phone. You guys are on that every single day. Like, look up what you want, like information wise, and I'm pretty sure you'll come across it. Like,
Right. Yeah. All that information
all the time. You'll
there.
see that there's like 11 writers on one song.
And the thing
so.
the thing I think is kind of egotistical is that it's like, okay, like I have guys who film these for me, and they're better at setting up the camera than me.
Right.
I know that, and I accept that. It's like if you are the star, if you're the good-looking person that gets in front of the camera, there's kind of like a level of just being super egotistical to really believe that you are necessarily the only person that has something valuable to offer on any given song. Like in reality, especially if you're new, you should be more than happy to get help from other people, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of people got to realize that, yes, there's the artist, but behind the artist is a huge team. Like, it's not realistic that you're going to always do everything by yourself, you know? Like, you got to climb with your team. There's a manager, there might be a songwriter, there might be an A&R, there might be PR, like all these people that push on socials and all that. But, you know, hey, like, people are going to educate themselves with what they want to educate themselves with, so.
Definitely. A lot of the fans, they kind of accept a version of reality that they want to accept.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
a lot of the time.
they're not going to look for information
Not
they don't
even
want to
just
know.
fans, just everyone, really.
Right.
It's all about perspective, hey.
That's a fact. So how did this situation pop up with Juicy J and Meg Thee Stallion?
Yeah, that situation was really unfortunate. You know, I kind of just came into there really excited about like the first placement and everything. You know, I have huge respect for Megan Thee Stallion. I think she's really dope. Like,
But so is this just a song that you wrote in a separate recordings or separate writing session that didn't have Juicy or Meg involved?
No, Juicy J was there.
Oh, okay. So
The session was separate. So me and Megan were never in the same studio.
Okay.
I've never met her in person before, nothing like that.
Okay.
And I mean, long story short, I was in a studio session and I was playing my music and someone happened to leave the door open to the studio session. And Juicy's manager came in, hey, like, I'm Juicy's manager, big fan, love your stuff, hearing it. And they invited me to another session the next day. And then I went in there, they played me a bunch of beats. I picked out the beats that I loved. I did some writing on it, melodies on it, and then boom,
and
the album.
And in a situation like that, are you getting paid X amount per hour to be in that situation, or are you getting paid like you'll have a writing credit or you'll make a percentage?
Honestly, like I was just going in there, just really humble. Like, you know, Juicy J's a legend,
Right.
and you know, I'm not gonna sit here and bash him because, hey, it's the industry. The industry is the industry, and business is business. But I definitely was going in there very like bright-eyed and like really excited to work with him. I mean, hey, someone comes into the session and says, "Hey, Juicy J wants to work with you." I'm
Right.
like, yes,
Yeah.
like, come on, like, let's go. Let's
Cash.
get something crazy, you
Yeah.
know? So I wasn't mad that any of that stuff happened. I just hate that how it was portrayed on social media because it just made me look like, oh, she's a liar, you know? And like someone transitioning from Vine into an artist and feeling like I have to work 1,000 times harder just compared to somebody who maybe signed to a label or like has that huge distributing company that they put all their music through. When I like publish myself and distribute everything myself, I'm just like, damn, like it didn't have to go like that.
But so how did you find out that that song was going to have Meg on it? It just came out and you were just like,
I
holy
got a
shit.
text message from Juicy's manager saying, let me get your BMI information. We want to make sure you're good on that record. And, you know, Megan heard it. She loves it. And she wants to do something
So
with it.
you knew it was going to come out for a while before it actually dropped.
But when I got that text message, when I went to socials, the track list was already out a week before. So the writers that were on that record have already put it out on their socials. She put it out on her social. Juicy put it on her social. So I was the last one to find out.
So the other writers had already said stuff publicly about the fact that
Correct.
they were involved. See, that's the interesting thing is
Post
that
still up.
nowadays, people who write stuff, it feels like they're sort of looking at it like, oh, everybody knows that there's writers, so who gives a fuck? I'll just shout it out. I'll say something about it. Whereas the
Right.
old style, if you helped Juicy J write a song in 2010, never mind 2000, it was like super strict. You never said anything about it. Now it feels like
Yeah.
it's a little bit more open, so people feel a little more comfortable saying something
Yeah,
about
and
it.
I think just by me looking at the track list when they were up on socials, it was just like, oh shoot, like, you know, I was a part of that record too. So everybody else posted about it. Let me
Right.
like post about it too, especially if I'm a week late, you know? So I really was just posting it to just support. And especially because she's another woman in the industry, I'm like, what? That's a given, you know? So
And you were probably looking at it too. I mean, like everybody fucks with Meg. Like she just seems like such a nice person, and everybody
yeah, I
likes
still
her
to this day
music.
think she's super dope.
Everybody
She
likes the
had-
storyline of like, wow, she really came from nothing. She's like a good rapper. She's talented. You know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like from your perspective, like you're just happy to be a part of it. But do you think that you fucked up at all when you, in your Instagram post about it, you said like, go drop these emojis on the post of the thing or whatever? Because I felt like that was the thing that
Like a call to action?
Well, did you tell your fans like, go comment this? No. Okay.
I never told my fans to do anything.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if that got lost in translation.
But so how did Meg end up getting offended then?
I think she had a natural reaction. No one told her that I was a part of it. I think Juicy's camp told her, you know, this is the reference track. You know, we had this girl, we called her up, we had her come in, and she just said the lyrics of Juicy J's on this track, and we want you to take it. So she was under the impression that Juicy wrote it, like that Juicy wrote the hook and, you know, all that. So I think she had 100%, she had all the right to naturally act like that
Okay.
with the things that were being said to her. Now, obviously, I guess if I came to her and I said, hey, I'm a part of this, I mean, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be like, hey, I'm a part. Like,
Right.
it was just a little weird because we've never met each other before. But I just figured that I guess you know, Juicy's camp would let her know. I mean, they asked for my BMI information, so it was like, it was a weird situation.
But so the whole time you never were saying that you wrote Megan's verse,
No,
which is that.
hell no.
But do you feel like
Hell
that's
no.
kind of the idea
Everybody
that she was
knows.
objecting to?
I'm sorry?
It kind of felt like that was what she wanted to make perfectly clear when she posted about it in her story. Is like, nobody wrote my verse.
Right.
Everybody seems okay with the idea that there could be an existing hook when you go to do a verse on a song,
Right.
and you repeat the hook, and that's just how it goes.
But honestly, like when I wrote my caption, I really was just taking half of it as a template from the other songwriters that say something like grateful to be a part. I've never really seen a post on a songwriter's page that says grateful to be a part of a record. I wrote the verse and I wrote this, that, and the third. Like sometimes they never really specify it. So, I mean, I just said, you know, grateful to be a part of the record. And I think that's when social media kind of assumed that, oh, you wrote the whole thing? You wrote the verse? And I never, and even after when she came out and said, you know, I write all my own stuff, I was like, yeah, I never said that I wrote the verse.
When you look back at that, though, do you think that you might have too much clout to have been
Yes, and-
commenting on it? Is that what you realized in the situation? Because most of those
realized
other
that.
writers are not famous at all, right?
I realized that, but you gotta understand also, I'm like super new to like this whole
Exactly,
songwriting
yeah.
for other people. I was under the impression that the record was actually gonna go to me. So when I was in there, I'm creating ideas like as if, okay, I'm writing like, all right, it's a collaborative between Wolftyla and Juicy J. But they came to me and said, hey, we're gonna give this to someone else. And I wasn't a jerk about it. I was like, okay, yeah, cool. Like, I love her, you know? So she's dope. So, I don't know. It's just a really unfortunate situation. But I feel like it's cool now.
But it's interesting, though, because it's like, even though it seems to me like you're kind of in the right, like I feel like she overreacted.
No, I don't think she overreacted.
You don't think?
I don't think she overreacted for someone who was telling her that.
Right.
You know?
You
If
can
someone
understand
is
how she
coming to
took
you
it.
and they lie to you, you're going to take that lie that they tell you and react
Right.
a natural way. Now, if she actually knew what happened, I'm sure she would have reacted differently because she, too, is also about women empowerment, you know? So,
But do you feel like in her situation, though, like that, you know, it's kind of like, do you feel like you didn't have a fair shot in terms of how the public viewed this because of the fact that she's so beloved and so famous that it's kind of like you're the underdog in this fight and it's just going to be tough for people to even, people are
Yeah,
just going to
I
run with
mean-
a different version of it.
I mean, it's really obvious. I definitely feel like I'm, I guess, the weaker link in this situation, or people kind of look at me as like, oh, you're not as big as her, or you're not as, you know, whatever.
Well, it's tough
But
to
I
beef
don't-
with somebody that's that beloved, you know?
I don't even think it's beef,
Not
though.
beef,
It's
but
just like,
have any kind of
it's a
friction with.
misunderstanding. But, you know, I'm not out here to compete with Megan. I'm not out here to compete with any woman at all. So it's like, I think things will get hashed out when they do. And, you know, things are always on time. So maybe that was supposed to happen at that moment. You know, maybe there will be a collaboration in the future. Maybe there will be something that would correct that situation or make that situation not even anything at all. Who knows? So
It's kind of weird, though. Do you feel like the fans are the ones like hyping up any sort of thing like that? Like any little thing that you or her might say that the fans end up amplifying it like crazy?
I don't think her fans or my fans are really even talking about it anymore.
Oh, so you didn't have like the Meg army coming for you or anything?
Well, when it first came out, yes, I
Okay.
definitely had the hot girls coming for me.
Oh, that's what they're
Like,
called? It's
I
not
think
the
so, yeah.
Beehive, it's the Hot Girls. Okay.
I think it's the hot girls, yeah.
I'm a hot girl.
They were they were definitely coming at me because, I mean, hey, you know, you're gonna defend who you love, who you support, whose music you love. And I totally get that too. So I don't have any hate towards the hot girls either. But
We appreciate it. No? Okay. Nobody else in the room.
but yeah. It just is what it is.
Hey, that was your first like actual hip hop beef. We're not gonna call it a beef, but tension.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm just like, let's not have that happen ever again. What's up? It's Wolftyla. Thanks for watching. If you like this clip right here, then make sure you watch the full interview on No Jumper.